think I'm going to make a short video. I say short. Lord knows I don't know what those are. I just recently watched a video by Abba Preach. They covered this video that was on some British channel. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put the link in the description below to their video. And I watched it and it struck me. I really like their videos. Abba and Preach are great. If you haven't subscribed to them, you really should. They're awesome, very honest, very genuine. I really like them and they're funny, really funny. So, shout out to Abba and Preach. And they covered a video, and it was a young woman who has alopecia. And they do this dating show. The thing that struck me about it is something that I've seen a lot of women do. I mean, I'm sure men do it too. I have more experience talking to girls about stuff like this. Young women and girls as I grew up. Testing your partners before they're partners is just a really bad way of finding a match with someone. And that's what she was doing in this. The guy was super nice to her about it, whether he was being genuine or not, though I feel like I generally think he was being genuine. That he was like, no, it's fine, it's unique, you know, it's just like, you're a beautiful girl, you look good without hair, because she was wearing a wig. And, you know, he was like, yeah, I'd love to date her again, and she's like, nah. You know, she totally just kirked him out. That's not the right word. She kind of, you know, she didn't accept his kindness in that situation. And I think that there's a specific reason why, and a lot of women do this. I think men do it too. You're setting yourself up for failure because that's what you're used to. You're used to people not accepting who you are, not accepting you for who you are, whether it be from your own family or personal experiences in life, or, you know, whatever. I too have had this happen to me before. Dated a few, especially mostly in high school. I kind of got over my dating jerk phase pretty early, which I'm pretty happy about. But she's testing him. She's testing him by taking the wig off initially before they even get to know each other. And I feel like this is a really toxic way of dealing with people and dealing with your own insecurities. She was expecting a certain reaction from him, and when she didn't get that reaction, she was instantly turned off. And even though she was not going, it's like, I mean, not even just instantly turned off, she was already turned off. She already was expecting a certain reaction. He didn't give that reaction. Even if he had given that reaction, she would have been, you know, the same way. It would have been the same result. Because ultimately, I think she didn't accept his kindness and his acceptance of her being bald. Because she doesn't accept it. And this is coming from a girl who wears wigs. I wear them not because I don't have hair, but because I don't like the hair that I have. It's thinning, it's not great, it doesn't grow in the way I want it to, and it's generally hard for me to style it in a way where I feel comfortable being on camera with it. I do wear it in my day-to-day life, my hair, just the way it is, but I generally don't, I'm not a very social person, you know, out when I go out. I mean, we're in the middle of quarantine days, so while this area that I live in doesn't necessarily, we're not all like hunkered down and stuff, you know, I don't go out to socialize. I didn't even before quarantine. I'm generally not a very go out to the bar, go out to meet people. I have to know you pretty well to go out and do that stuff. So I don't really care what random people think of me, but when I put myself out here like this on film or on the YouTubes or in my streaming, I want to look a certain way. It's my vanity. I know it. You know, it's my own insecurities as well. I try not to throw those things at people right off the bat. There's things about me that could be deal breakers for not just for relationships, but for friendships, you know? And I don't generally bring those out on the first date, and I think this is a mistake a lot of people make. It's like, hey, I'm going to tell you all the big, big stuff. And women are more guilty of this, I've noticed, than men are. Like, let me tell you about all my bad relationships. Let me tell you about how I've been hurt off the bat. Let me tell you about how I have this medical condition. Let me tell you about how anything, like, sometimes it could even be seen as not necessarily a negative thing, but they know, to them, but they know that other people view it as negative. You know, say you're a hoarder, or you're a crazy cat lady, or crazy dog lady. You know, you bring that up on the first date without even letting that person get to know you, because those things aren't you. You collecting dogs, you collecting tchotchkes, you not having hair, you having a skin condition, you having an illness that affects your day-to-day life is not necessarily something that you should be bringing out the first few times you meet someone and are getting to know them. Like, let your base personality, you know, shine in those moments instead of trying to find a reason to scare someone off. You know, I myself am guilty just in the friendship aspect of being a turned up version of myself. I'm trying to think of the word, but I mean, whatever. Just very overly silly. You know, people tend to tell me I come off as childish or immature because I generally am I make a lot of jokes, I do a lot of voices, I sing a lot, you know, I'm just, you know, it's the irreverent, I don't give a shit what you think about me kind of stuff. Now, some people are initially attracted to that. And I would warn you against people who are initially attracted to your more volatile or questionable behaviors, because they may not be seeing it the way you want them to see it. You know, you might be being like quirky and, you know, bubbly and fun-loving, and you want them to see that as those things, but all they're seeing is, oh, this is an unstable, kind of crazy person. It's exciting, you know. And when that part of you is toned down, then, you know, there's holes left in the relationship, and they're expecting a specific kind of response from you, and you're not giving it to them anymore, and that leads to problems. But ultimately, I feel like, you know, too many people try too hard from the get-go when they're dating or when they're just making friends, because it doesn't even have to be a dating thing. Making friends, you know, something I have a very hard time with, unless it's a situation that kind of forces people together, and then out of those groups of people, I generally find some people who I feel much more compelled to, that are, like, you know, that become my friends. But coming right out the bat with the goofy, silly stuff, I used to do it more. I generally these days more try and just I'm a bit shy when I first meet people. And then they get to know me slowly. I kind of slowly, like, filter in more and more of my personality so that they can get a better idea of what I'm like in multiple situations, you know. But a lot of people just try and come out the bat, like, let me hit him with hit him with my best shot. Let me hit him with the most extreme thing about me that I know, due to my prior experience, is something that turns people off, something that's a deal breaker. And it's just like, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. I know I've said this already, whatever. Just like, you gotta let people get to know you first. And you can say, well, that is part of me. It's like, it's not, though. It's an element of you. It's a small section of you. And there's more to you than being any given thing. I'm bisexual. That is not the first thing I say in a conversation when I'm meeting someone. You know, it's because it doesn't matter. My sexuality doesn't matter in that aspect unless I'm trying to have sex with them, and then, you know, that's a different story. But, like, I feel like more people need to try to develop acquaintances and then move to friendship. So many people are trying to just straight off the bat jump into a relationship, but the way they're going about it is making it so hard for not only them to accept the other person, but for the other person to accept them. And you think, oh, well, you know, it's fine, I'm filtering out the assholes. It's like, but you're not. You're filtering out people who see that kind of, I guess, exhibitionist behavior where you're just kind of like putting yourself out there completely, trying to see, you know, if they're going to react the way everyone else has reacted before. And it's like you're guaranteeing that they will. You're not giving them a lot of space to digest what you've told them. You know, and it's the pressure situation of just meeting someone. They don't want to be an asshole to you. They want to get to know you. Clearly, if they're sitting down with you for a dinner, for a lunch, a coffee, or whatever the fuck you're going out for, and you're having an intimate conversation with someone else, whether it be for romantic or friendship, you're throwing this at them. You know, I've got 5 dogs, 2 kids, and, you know, and a mortgage payment that's overwhelming me. Like, really, how is someone supposed to, like, respond to that the way you're going to be happy with it, you know? And if they are positive in their response of it, it makes you feel like kind of weird, because all you've ever gotten before is negative. All you've ever gotten before that person being nice about it makes you question whether they're genuinely being nice. And it is a good question. Are they genuinely being nice? I mean, in this situation, they're on camera, so there is a good chance that, like, they're just saying this to come off looking nice. I mean, honestly, I question anyone who would be willing to date on camera. Are you really looking for a relationship? Or are you looking for a career? Because doing anything like that, either on, like, for an audience to also consume, it smacks of needing acceptance. It smacks of needing to be seen, needing to be accepted in a way that you're not going to get genuine acceptance. You're just going to get, you know, you might get people who are like, yeah, you go, you girl, or whatever. But at the same time, you're also going to be getting people who are just going to troll you, or just be a jerk to you, or question your sincerity. And it's like you're also setting that other person up for you to question their sincerity, and it's kind of a shitty place to be in, whether you're on the receiving end or, you know, or not, you know. It's just like you're putting them in that position, and that makes them uncomfortable, and I don't know, I'm kind of going off, sorry. I don't know, I feel like she's not going to find what she's looking for in terms of like, because I think ultimately she is looking for someone that accepts her. But the thing is, I know it's a cliche at this point, but honey, you've got to accept yourself before you can expect anyone else to accept you. Because yes, they will accept you, and there will be people who accept you even when you don't accept yourself, but you're not going to be ready to receive that love, to receive that acceptance. You're always going to question it. You're always going to wonder if it's true. You're always going to wonder if it's genuine. And, you know, and you're setting that person up for failure, not just yourself. And that makes them bitter. You know, that makes them like, oh, well, I was nice. And yet, like, you know, this person couldn't accept that. And is there something wrong with me because they couldn't accept how nice I was to them? Maybe I shouldn't be as nice, you know? It's just like we got a whole freaking generation of freaking incels because there's so many people who are so messed up about themselves. It's like we're all messed up. We have to be more understanding and try and work on ourselves before we point the finger at everybody else and say, you're the problem why I don't have a good relationship, or you're the problem why I don't have a lot of friends. It's like, you know, I am a person who doesn't have a lot of friends. And I know I've justified it before by saying, oh, it's fine, you know, I don't need a lot of people in my life. And I do prefer a smaller, close friend group. But I also limit myself because I'm afraid of getting hurt. I've had to acknowledge this within myself and try and keep myself from becoming bitter by the fact that it's been so hard to maintain long-lasting adult relationships. It was much easier when I was a kid, when you're forced into situations where you're going to be around people your own age, or even people of a variety of ages and backgrounds, where you can meet a lot of cool people. It's a lot harder to do when you're stuck in certain fields, or, you know, where you're just going to be dealing, you're going to be dealing with a certain group of people, you know, whether it's geographically or just the specific job you're in. It's going to be a lot harder for you to just find someone who you can talk to, who you can relate to, you know. It's a lot harder when you're an adult. That, you know, because it requires a hell of a lot more effort on your part. No one's making you go to school anymore. No one's making you go to youth groups or whatever it is, whatever activity your parents made you go to, that where you ended up cultivating friendships with people that you were stuck in that situation with, you know. But, you know, I can't use my, you know, it's like I can't say that just, oh, it's like people are just turned off by my personality, which is true at points. There are people who I'm not their cup of tea. They're expecting something, they hear that I'm 40, you know, and they're just like, oh, you've got to be a certain way, trying to fucking put me in a box. And yeah, that is a factor. But ultimately, the reason I don't have a lot of friends is because I don't put myself out there. And when I do, I'm generally very gun shy. I can't blame the world for that, though. I have to take ownership. I have to take some accountability for my own actions and understand that that is why this situation has happened. The damn AC just cut on because it's hot in here, but whatever. It's not really that hot in here. I'm freezing, but everyone else is hot. I think ultimately this chick was expecting a fight, and when she didn't get the fight, she didn't know how to react to this guy. And this guy was hoping to kill her with kindness, and it's like, unless you're in a customer service situation, that really doesn't work with someone who's so deeply upset by how they look. They're upset with the lot they've been given in life, and until she's able to accept that this is her lot and that she needs to, you know, come to terms with it on her own term, you know, in her own time, and not expect someone else to come in and help her through it. I mean, it's great to have friends and people who will help you through these things, but ultimately you need to be prepared to do it by yourself. You know, we're born into this world, you know, screaming and naked, and we are so dependent in our formative years on other people, and there's a turnaround at some point in your life where you have to realize that you can't truly be dependent. Hopefully your parents do a good enough job of teaching you how to be independent so that you can branch out and cultivate your own future without having to rely too much on other people. Because when you lean too hard, and it's like, it's good to rely on people, but when you lean too hard on others for your sense of self-esteem, for your sense of worth, you're going to ultimately fall. You're going to meet people who aren't going to accept you the way you want to be accepted. You're expecting an outcome, and every time it's like expectations lead to disappointment. You know, you have to, at a certain point, have realistic expectations of others. You have to understand that your sense of self-esteem may not initially be very important to them. At least not in the way you hope it is. I mean, yeah, of course, most people who I think are kind and want to be socially accepted by others, but they're doing that not because they want you to feel good, but because it makes them feel good. We are ultimately very self-centered creatures. Our lives, like I said, our formative years are about people, basically, you know, us being completely dependent on other people and being very self-centered. And there's a point in your life where you have to learn to be more empathetic to others, where you have to be more independent, and those are things that your parents are supposed to help you set you up in life for. And so when things happen, like you get alopecia in the in your prime years, you know, when you're a young woman looking for someone to settle down with and spend your life with, that you're not so overwhelmed by the negative response, and you learn to filter through that and realize that when someone's being a jerk to you, that's not about you, that's about them. And when you, and equally, when you are unaccepting of other people's kindness, seeing it as something that it's not, that's not them, that's you. You have to come to terms with your own insecurities. You have to come to terms with why it is that you can't accept that love and that acceptance. Why you need a fight instead of a friendship, you know? Stop looking for the instant fix to your problem. Try and understand that it's a journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey itself, you know? It's like, yes, you can have little goals along the way, but if you set yourself up for like, well, I want kids, a house, and a guy who's going to worship me, and you know, and it's like, you're always going to be looking for that one thing that makes your life perfect, and there's no one thing that's going to make your life perfect. If you're more focused on the journey than you are the destination, you're going to find that you will find all those things that fill your life in with wonder and fucking joy. If you let those moments mean something and be more important than ultimately getting to your goal at the end, you're going to have a better time of it. But in conclusion, I feel bad for this girl, not because she can't find a guy, because she clearly can. She's good looking, and it's sad, the stigma that women have over men in terms of being bald. I know men get the same bald stigma at points, but like, you know, it's not the same. Women's beauty is held up to a higher standard of, we have to have long, beautiful hair. Even when I've had short hair, which I do now, I've been misgendered. I've been treated like, oh, you're just, what are you doing? Why is your hair so short? It's like, because when it's long, the thinness shows, you know? It doesn't look as good. Thus the wigs. But, you know, and I wear these more for my own comfort. I'm not afraid of I mean, I've had plenty of you guys tell me, it's like, I'm beautiful no matter what. And I like that, I appreciate it, and I can see it. But at the same time, it's really hard to see yourself the way other people see you. And I don't think it's important to see yourself the way other people see you. I think it's more important to come to terms with how you see yourself and gain some acceptance from that. To try and feel your way through it. And it's like, there's no perfect solution. There's no one way that it's going to work. You have to find that for yourself, but don't make it someone else's responsibility for you to be happy. When the moment you decide to make your happiness dependent on somebody else and how they react to you, how they, you know, react to what you say and what you do, you've lost the game. You lost the plot. It's no longer about what you wanted it to be about. And you're going to be playing that game forever if you keep on doing that. So, you know, try and love yourself. You know, it's good to have good, reasonable expectations for yourself. It's good to be understanding that not everyone is going to like or accept you. And be okay with that. You need to find a way to be okay with that. You know? It's hard. I struggle with it every day. I struggle with it to this day. And I'm 40. So it's not like, you know, I'm some young thing who just hasn't experienced enough in the world yet. You know? It's like, no, I've lived a bit of a life so far. You know? Hopefully 40 more years to go, if not more. But you can't let other people's reactions and expectations of you determine how you're going to react. How you need to be enough for yourself before you're going to be enough for anybody else. Because even if you are enough for somebody else, they're not going to reach your expectations, because you've already decided you're not worth it. You got to change your mind about that. You got to be enough for yourself. Well, I hope that rambling mess made sense. Like I said, check out Abba and Preach. Right here. Links in the description below. Please. I love them. I want to help them get to more subscribers because they're just awesome. They're probably my favorite creators right now. Like, there's a few other ones I really like to watch, but honestly, their content is chef's kiss. Nice. They're really good, and I think more people need to, to watch them. And if you could kick this video over to them too, say hi. I love you guys. I love you guys so much, so much. Really like your content, and everyone I know is going to hear about it. So keep on doing what you're doing. You guys are fucking hilarious. I die, like, between serious conversations and then but also like really being funny. And I like the stuff they choose to cover, It's like even stuff that's like really outside my wheelhouse. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I like you guys. Fucking awesome. So like and subscribe to me if you want. I mean, it'd be nice. You don't have to, though. It's okay. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not setting up expectations. No, so dumb. What is it? It's like I keep thinking of Preach, because let me say, Preach is. I love you too, Abba, but Preach. Your smile delights me. Your laugh delights me. You was right. I want that t-shirt. Oh God, I wish I had more money. That is such a good tee. Oh, that's so funny. Definitely check them out. I love them so much. Okay, now that I'm done standing over, it's just gross, and I'm sorry because I'm way too old to be doing that shit. Ooh. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this little bit of me being just, I don't know, what am I being anymore? Just my usual skitsy self. Whatever. It's okay. It's all good.